felt good. Down strategy. Now you press the advantage. Look ahead. Loyalty. Get ready. Suppressing fire. This bullet will reach its mark. Right on. This chopper is dedicated to the world. Engaging. It's time. Engaging. That felt good. Press the advantage. The melody moves you. Ahead. Resolve. Down strategy. Take the shot. The target's exposed. In the head. You won't back down. Will reach its mark. Right on the police shop is dedicated to the world. Look it up. The target's exposed. Adjusting for wind. What you deserve. That felt good. It's time. Down strategy. It's time. What you deserve. You're in it's time. What you deserve. Wide open. I'll pierce you. It's time. Increase fire. Move behind me. Press the advantage. Let the melody move you. In the head. Loyalty. Keep focused. Recalibrating. Sniper's Creed. One shot, one kill. Right on cue. What you deserve. What you deserve. What you deserve. Take a shot. Now you can. You're in the fight. It's time. Down strategy. It's time. The target's exposed. Let the melody move you. Rick, result. Time to let our soul resonate. Engaging. Adjusting for wind. Ether vision activate. What you deserve, this bullet will reach its mark. Witness the magic of music. It's sustaining fire. In the head. He won't back down. Increase firepower.
Creator, your blessing.
Let our souls resonate. Engaging. The target's exposed. Now you can.
My way. Mighty Creator, please refine me.
Can't catch me. What you deserve. Witness the magic of music. Sustaining fire. In the head. He won't back down. Yep.
Creator, your blessing.
This bullet will reach its mark. Moving ahead.
This song is dedicated to the world.
Engaging. Loyalty. Number 0, Anby.